I've had people asking for a while, how in the heck do I edit my tracked Milky Way photos with Blue Hour blends? And while there are many different ways to edit your Milky Way photos, I think the way that I'm doing it is relatively simple and easy to understand for most people, even if you're a novice at star tracking. So today is the day I'm going to show you exactly how that works in this video. Now we're going to start in Lightroom and then we're going to jump over into Photoshop. If you don't know Photoshop, don't worry. I'm going to show you just a really basic understanding of what you need to know in order to get your Milky Way photos where they need to be. But if you are interested in more of a flushed out Photoshop course, I have a full course covering absolutely everything you need to know about Photoshop from zero to hero. And I'll post a link to that down below. So make sure you check that out. Let's jump in there first over into Lightroom and look at what we've got here. So we're working with these two photos. I've got this Blue Hour shot here, and then I've got this Milky Way here, and we are going to be blending them together to create one photo. Now, the first thing I want to do is go in and usually I'll edit my Milky Way. So I just want to do some basic adjustments, drop the highlights, increase the shadows, bring up the exposure if it needs to be brightened, maybe punch the whites, maybe punch the blacks. We're going to use this tone curve just a little bit. I know this is happening quickly, but definitely feel free to pause and play if you're doing this alongside your own image. I don't want to spend too much time here talking about some of these basic things, but we're going to get this image to a good workable spot. At this point in time, you would also want to tone the Milky Way depending on what color you want it to be. I like to bring the vibrance and the saturation up as I adjust the temperature and the tint. So if you wanted a cooler Milky Way, you could bring that temperature down. I'm actually pretty happy with where this is at now. I might want it to be a little bit more magenta and maybe just a little bit cooler. Then I will zero these back out. And I think maybe it's a little too much magenta. Somewhere right on in there. You can bring up the saturation just a little bit. You don't need to do anything crazy here, just basic adjustments. Sometimes I'll add just a little bit of texture and just a little bit of clarity as well. And other than that, that's about all that I'm going to do to get started on my Milky Way here. Want to make sure that this isn't blown out in the core there. I'm pretty happy with how that is, so that is good. Now we'll go over to our Blue Hour shot here. And on this one, a lot of people might think, let's make the Blue Hour shot as bright as possible. Let's make that foreground really bright. But it's simply not going to look realistic. So really what I'm looking to do here is make it so that the sky contrasts well with the foreground, because we are going to cut out the sky. So I'm actually just going to increase the highlights, increase the shadows, and I'm actually going to bring up the blacks point on the tone curve, and then I'm just going to bring the whole curve down in general. This is just going to kind of flatten the contrast, which is exactly what I want to do, because at night, the scene shouldn't be too contrasty in the foreground because there is no light, so it's really flat. I'm just going to bring the exposure down. Somewhere about in here looks pretty good to me. Now we're going to make some adjustments to this again in Photoshop, but we just want to get it to a workable spot. Maybe I'll bring up the saturation just a hair. So now you can see we're going to blend these two images together in Photoshop to ultimately make our photo. Now we're going to shift click and make sure we have both images selected, and then we'll right click or control click, edit in, and then we're going to open as smart object layers in Photoshop. Very important that you use smart object layers. That's going to allow you to be able to go back and make some adjustments to the file and still maintain all that great dynamic range. Now once this is open in Photoshop, you're going to make a quick few adjustments here. First of all, make sure your foreground layer is on the top. If it's on the bottom, just click and drag it just like that. Now, what we want to do is create a layer mask of the sky, which essentially hides the sky from this top layer and allows us to see through to the Milky Way. And that's exactly what we want to do. So let's go ahead and grab one of our selection tools. For this image, we're just going to use our quick selection tool right there. It's over here. You can push W on the keyboard and you should have an option to select it. Make sure you do quick selection, not object selection. And then we will just click and drag. And you can see as I click and drag, that snaps really nicely to the sky. You can see these little blinkies now are what is selected in the photo. Now, if I click on the layer mask button, you'll notice it's done the exact opposite of what we want to do, but we are simply going to invert this using Command or Control I. Now we have our selection of the foreground. Now you have a couple options here. Command minus to zoom out if you want, or just pinch or pull on the trackpad if you're using a trackpad like me. I want to make this image a little bit bigger because I think I might want to crop this down, but I want to give myself some options, and a lot of people will like doing this. So grab your crop tool or hit C, hit clear right here, make sure that nothing is in that box, and then we can drag out our sides, make this a little bit bigger. Make sure delete crop pixels is off, go ahead and hit return once you've made that a little bit bigger. That makes it so now when we grab our bottom layer here, our Milky Way layer, we can grab our move tool and we can drag it up and we can add to the space in the canvas. Now, on this particular photo, I want the Milky Way to be right in the arch there. You can see I used a Milky Way that was shot at a slightly different location, but the Milky Way was right in the arch when I scoped this out. So I want it to be right in the middle there, somewhere like that. Now, if you've got a blue hour blend, you want to make sure you don't have like anything weird from the blue hour shot in the foreground there. You want to make sure it's just sky. So we're going to just put the dark horse in there just like that. Now that looks pretty good. So at this point now you can see we're missing some data on the side here. So we're going to need to crop this one down. It is totally up to you how much you want to crop it down and where you want to crop it. I like to grab my crop tool and then decide on what kind of aspect ratio I want to use for this one. For this photo, I'm thinking probably a 1:2, or sorry, a 2:1 might be nice. We'll see how that looks. You know, and of course you need to drag in on the sides, because we want to make sure we get all of the pixels that are important here. Something like that, maybe. Let's hit return and let that load out, see how that looks. Now, of course, remember, you can also do just a standard 2:3 if you wanted more in the foreground, but I actually kind of like what we have going on there. I think that looks really nice, just like that. You can see our foreground and then our sky. Now, one more thing, because it's going to drive you crazy later. Go in here, click on your layer mask, hold the Alt or Option button, click on the layer mask, and we just want to fill this top section with black. And I will explain why in just a second. So grab your rectangular marquee tool or hit M. Grab this all, and then you're going to go to Edit, Fill, and we're going to fill with black. And then hit Command D. Now that makes that perfect selection. So now we have a really nice selection of the sky that we're going to reuse later, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So now at this point, we need to match our foreground and our sky, which they already match decently well, but I want them to match a little bit better. And so there's two different ways you can do this. You can double click on this layer and go back into your camera adjustments that you have available in Lightroom. And if you do that, opens up like this. Now you can see the adjustments. Now the problem is, as you adjust this, you can't see the live preview as it happens. There's no possible way to see a preview until you hit OK. So I'm going to cancel, and instead of doing that, I'm going to use Photoshop's options to do this. So within Photoshop, what I'm going to do is create a new adjustment layer, which is down here in this circle with a slash through it. And we are going to probably create, first let's do a brightness and contrast layer. Properties is not available here, go to Window, scroll down, click on Properties, and then you can drag and drop it over here. So now I think it's too bright, so I want to bring the brightness down. And one thing that you're probably noticing is it's affecting the whole image, which isn't going to help. So we're going to hit this box with a down arrow here now that we have properties available, and that is going to just apply it to our foreground. So now as we adjust this, we can just affect the foreground, and we can really match this up. And I want to I'm not going to adjust the contrast. Get it in just like that. Let's create another adjustment layer here. We'll go color balance. We'll hit that down arrow again. And we are going to just cool this down. It's a little bit too warm for my liking. Somewhere about in here. Might be a little bit too blue there. Let's just bring that back just a hair. You can also just adjust the opacity here to drop that down. Let's bring that to about 50%. And then we'll grab a hue saturation layer with a down arrow. And again, that will apply it to just this foreground layer. We'll drop the hue and saturation just like that. All right. So now you can see we've kind of blended this to make it look a little bit more realistic. You can do whatever you need to do here in order to make this look realistic. It might take a few steps. So definitely do keep that in mind. Now, when I go through and I edit this photo, there's just a couple of steps that I want to take. You can save this back in a Lightroom and continue your edit there. But I will show you a couple of nice things to do in Photoshop that I'm doing to pretty much every one of my Milky Way photos. And that really starts with an adjustment to reduce the stars, to lower the brightness of the stars, essentially. Now, the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to merge all visible layers here by going Command, Option, Shift, and E. That is going to create a new stamped layer. And I'm going to call this Star Reduction. And I'm going to go up to Filter. I'm going to go down to RCAstro, and I'm going to go to Star Exterminator. Now, This RCAstro is a third-party plugin. You do have to pay for this. I like this a ton. I'll put a link to it down below. This is not sponsored at all. I don't even get any affiliate link or anything like that. I'm just putting the link down below because this is a great piece of software. That being said, if you don't want to pay for this, I think it's like 60 bucks. I will link a video of how you can do this same thing for free. It doesn't work quite as well. The results aren't quite as good, but for those of you just viewing your images on a phone that don't really care about pixel peeping, I think it works just fine. So I'll link that video here. Now I'm going to check the box for large tile overlap and hit OK. Now this is going to take just a second. You can see it's going to process. And then once it is done, we will have a completely star reduced image. All right, now after that's done, you will see we've done the star reduction here before and after. So this really helps the Milky Way to stand out. What you will notice is it can oftentimes create some weird looks in the image. Like this just appears very, very scratchy now that we've removed all the stars. And some of that is the noise, but some of it is just that I don't want to remove all of the stars like that. So I'm just going to dial the opacity back. And this is totally up to you with how much you want to dial this in. Like somewhere around 50% is usually pretty good for me. That way I can still see the stars, but they are not so bright anymore. So I'm liking the way that's looking. Now, if this is affecting your foreground, like you can see it's affecting some things down here for me, you can go ahead and just create a new layer with a layer mask attached to it. I like to create 2 layers. Lately, this is how I've been doing it. I like to do 2 groups here, and I like to do one for sky, and I like to do one for foreground. We'll grab our layer mask here by holding Command and clicking on it. And I'm going to create the layer mask on the foreground layer. Now, anything that's within this group will only be applied to the foreground. And I'm going to Command click on that layer and click on sky. And then I'm going to Command I to invert. Now, anything in here is only going to affect the sky. So I can drag and drop that in there. You can see now my star reduction is only affecting the sky. Now I can do the same thing again if I want to do the noise reduction. So Command, Option, Shift, and E. Again, I'm going to use RCAstro's noise reduction. You do have to buy this as well, but there's tons of other videos that I've released out there on other ways to denoise that would work. But if you have RCAstro Noise Exterminator, that is a great one to use. Usually the default settings work just fine. Hit OK and let that thing denoise. All right, now just like that, that is done. We can zoom in, toggle before and after. You can see it's reduced quite a bit of noise there. We can also just drag this one down into that sky layer as well. Now, one of the big adjustments that I like to do here, and one of the last major things, is to just do a curves adjustment to the sky. So I'm going to create a new adjustment layer and grab curves. Now within this curves, I'm going to just create a simple little S curve. Drag the bottom down, drag the top up. And that is going to help my Milky Way to pop a little bit. Sometimes I'll bring the blacks point up as well, maybe just a little bit. And maybe we pop that bright part just a little bit too much, but I feel like that is pretty good. If you want to make some hue saturation adjustments, you can also create a hue saturation layer as well. You can increase the hue and saturation just like that. Super simple, super easy. And then you can do the same thing to the foreground. If there's adjustments that you want to make to the foreground, say you wanted to add a curves and maybe make it a little more contrasty, you can definitely do that. Bring the blacks point up. Something just like that feels pretty good to me. So edit this to your heart's content. Last thing that I will do is throw a vignette on and do a little bit of a spot heal. Let's do the spot heal first, then we'll do the vignette. So I'm going to create a new layer here. We're going to just put this outside because we wanted to spot heal everything in the image. We're going to grab our spot healing brush over here. We are going to check sample all layers. And then I'm just going to select this. Now, when you're editing astro photos, you might have these long not star trails, but planes, and you might click and drag like this, which can take a lot of time. But instead of doing that, click on one end, then hold Shift and click on the other end, and it will draw a completely straight line. That's going to save you a ton of time, and you can make your spot healing brush very small here, so it's nice and accurate, just like that. And I think that is about it. Okay, perfect. Last thing, we're going to create a little bit of a vignette on there. So I'm going to do Command, Option, Shift, and E to merge all visible. We're going to go up and convert this to a smart object. I like to just go to Help and type Convert, and then go to Convert to Smart Object. Now we will go to Filter and Camera Raw Filter. The reason why we use a smart object is because we can go back and adjust this if we want to adjust it later. Now to create a vignette, I'm actually going to do it in a custom way. So I'm going to grab the masking tool here, grab our radial gradient, make this nice and big here. And I want the feather to be somewhere around 30. we'll hit the 3 dots and hit invert. Just like that. Now we'll bring the exposure down. Now we can really kind of make this fit our image depending on what the photo looks like. I want this foreground to be relatively dark here. And I want the sky to be pretty dark as well. But I don't want to really kill all of the color there in the sky. So maybe bring the whites up just a little bit. And then I don't know if maybe just saturating it a little bit more might be good. But somewhere in there looks pretty good to me. Let's toggle the before and after. I like that. If you want to do an additional like linear gradient here on the foreground, I sometimes will do that as well. Bring the exposure down just a little bit. And then usually I'll go back in and just increase the brightness of the whole image after that while dropping the highlights to retain those details. Maybe bring up the shadows just a hair. Just like that, before and after. So you can see that vignette is kind of just the finishing touches on my image. Maybe drop the whites just a little bit. These are getting a little bit hot in here. Then we will hit OK. So you can see in just a few minutes, we went from our original 2 images here, which were these, and we worked all the way through to our final edit just like that. So there you have it. That's how I edit my Milky Way photos. Hopefully that's simpler than you think. I'm spending less and less time editing my Milky Way photos as I continue to figure out ways that I can make things shorter and more simple. So I hope that this makes sense to you. Now there's a lot of other things you can do out there like dodging and burning, making certain stars glow and stuff like that. But I've found that I like my images looking a little more simple. So if you like that as well, then I think that you will really find this video helpful. I know I move fast. My recommendation is to pause and play alongside editing an image of your own. Watch this on your phone screen, on your iPad, on your second computer screen, whatever you've got, and then edit your image on your own screen at the same time, pausing and playing alongside my photo. And of course, once you do that, let me know down below in the comments what you think, if you were happy with your edit. I always love to hear from you guys. Thank you so incredibly much for tuning in. As always, my name is Austin Jackson, and I greatly appreciate you guys being here. Make sure to leave me a like and a subscribe to help me grow my channel. I'll help you improve at photography. That's going to be all she wrote this week, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.